kind of want to get your take first and foremost on the idea of interviewing. Like for you, I guess, who are your inspirations that kind of helped you find the way that you wanted to hold your conversations? And I guess how do you write, notes down? Do you not write notes? Does it all come to you in your head? What is, I guess, in your eyes, interviewing?
Well, the number one flaw I see in interviewers is that they don't listen. So what makes me a really great interviewer is that I do have my notes, but I will very quickly go away from them if I found that person's like moment, that thing that gets them going. And so the goal of an interviewer is to bring out the best parts of a person, right? And while you have notes, I have my notes. I have maybe like 5 to 10 questions on my phone. I'm not afraid of people seeing it. I don't care. It's about a conversation. And I will use those to try to get to that point. But the moment I get that person in their mode, I'm trying to keep them there. And so I think the priority has to be, when you're interviewing someone, is finding out how to ignite them, how to find that passion within them. And so while I have my questions, I hope I don't go in order. I hope that I have to go away from how I planned it, because that means I heard something in them and I'm diving deeper and I'm getting something that they haven't given to another podcast or another interview they were in. And so for me, yeah, I take notes, I research. I listen to the other interviews they were in, and I think about what's something that ignited them in a different way, but I can get something else out of it. But how I also go about it is I'm trying to have a conversation. I don't think anybody really on me on that level, because I'm not just having an interview, we're having a conversation. And so when I'm not just asking questions, so if somebody says something, I'm then gonna give my take and I'm gonna give my point of view. And then oftentimes what happens in my podcast is I start giving my point of view and then it ignites more out of them. I didn't even ask another question. I think when you're able to do that, when you're able to get a guest to start talking off of you not asking a question, you just adding, is when that's when I think you've reached another level of interviewing. And it also depends on the show you have. Like, there's some really big podcasts I listen to and I'm taking notes from the interviewer and I'm like, dang, he didn't really have a conversation. He was just asking really good questions. Boom, that's just not me. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know what I mean? And so like, I can take a piece of that. I'm like, oh, I can ask questions like that. But my show ain't never gonna be like them completely. And so it's about finding what you do differently, but then also finding ways you can take from other people. And so some of my inspirations, I think, Diary of a CEO, I think the podcast name, I listen to him a lot. He asks really good questions that gets people to bring out their story. I've studied him. I mean, I agree with everything, but Joe Rogan's good for conversation. I'm gonna think any other inspirations. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a podcaster that started podcasting before I listened to podcasts. So yeah, like I was never like, yo, I love podcasts, I want to start one. I was like, no, I should have a podcast. And so that's also what makes me different. And I think you can look at a lot of just not podcasts, but like there's great interviews out there, whether that's on TV or different mediums. And so, but yeah, I think the biggest thing as an interviewer, bro, is doing your research, getting your questions, and already kind of having it in your head. But listen, because they are going to give you clues to what their world and passion is. And then when you find, it's like a gold mine. And once you find or it's like finding oil. Once you find that city with oil, you stay at that city. You know what I'm saying? You don't go to the next city and try to find oil. Nah, you stay right there until the oil dry up. And I think that's my strategy when I interview. How can I get them into that mode? You know what I'm saying? Some people easier than others. But once you find that, ask them deeper and don't just follow some list you have on a paper. You know what I mean? Like, definitely you don't want to, like, I see it all the time. There'll be an interviewer who asks someone a question and then they'll get on a tangent, the person they're interviewing. And they'll answer another question they had down and then they'll ask them the question again. It's like, dog, he already answered it, you just didn't ask the question yet. You see what I'm saying? So it's about being a conversationalist, not really an interviewer. See what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Okay, that's real.
Yeah. Add to this video really quick as somebody that's been an interviewer and somebody that's been interviewed. And one of the main things that I've realized, I said that one point, like when you're able to say something that's not a question and it gets them to talk more, what I've realized is, as somebody that has an expertise in something, has something they're passionate about, you don't want to give all the gems, or you don't even feel in your energy to talk about things fully if you don't know if somebody's there with you on that like frequency. We want to talk about things we're passionate about to people that are also passionate or interested. And so the more you show me interest, the more you show me you actually get what I'm saying. Sometimes us creatives, we can feel very alone. Us visionaries can feel very alone because we have these very like crazy thoughts. When somebody says, yo, I hear you and I understand you, it's like, oh, for real? I got more to tell you. I just didn't know if you felt me. I didn't want to make it awkward. Like, I have a whole book in my head, but I don't want to give away the whole book because I may feel like you wouldn't even get past the intro. You see what I'm saying? So I think a key with interviewing is showing people and actually being somebody that's actually interested. Some people just are interested in asking questions and they don't really care. But me, I'm legit like passionate about hearing, like my podcast is about, helping people find their passion. So I'm asking people how they found it. Whenever somebody tells me the story of them finding their passion, it's just something I'm passionate about. I love hearing it. And so when somebody's talking about it, I'm like, at this moment, and then they give me more. There's always more to a story when you're interviewing somebody, but it takes you showing interest enough for them to give it. I'm not going to tell those things that I'm super, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to tell everybody your whole story if they halfway interested. Somebody got to earn that story from me. So just think about that when you're interviewing. Understand that people tell more to people that are interested and that understand them. When you make me feel like I'm not alone in my thoughts, in my big visionary thoughts or creative thoughts or big dreams or whatever it may be, I'm gonna tell you more. When you show that you're compassionate, that you're not judging me, all that stuff helps me then give you more. And that's the goal, right? You want to get the most out of your interviewer. You got to show them that you're there with them. Like, comment, subscribe. My podcast is actually named Root of Everything, so if y'all want to check me in action interviewing, whatever. But I'll post on this YouTube channel all the things I learned in life and just give it away for free. So like, comment, subscribe. Drop me a comment if you have any questions or feedback. And hope I'll see y'all in the next video. I'll drop every single day at 9:30 a.m. ET. Peace.